going to first start by saying how much I enjoyed Wrath of Man. I'm very happy that you and Guy are back in a relationship and dating again. It's great. I think fans are going to be very, very happy.
Yeah, dating again. I'm sure he'd be concerned if I told him. No, it's been quite a while. It's been, I'm trying to guess, probably 15 years since we last worked together, and we have both been on our little journeys of, up and down in the movie business. And it was about time we did something together. In fact, I've been knocking on his door several times for different movies, and it just hasn't worked out. So this was really, a special moment for us, and especially to do something that we were both sort of keen and interested in doing.
Completely. I have a ton of questions on Wrath of Man, but during the pandemic, during these virtual interviews, I ask everyone the same first few questions. And so let's start with those, which is, what TV series would you love to guest star on?
You know what, Steve? I have not watched hardly any TV. Since we've had a little kid, I have got no time in the day or evening for anything. So
sure, let's jump to the next one. It's not a problem. What movie or movies do you think you've seen the most?
What movies? Movie? I've seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid numerous times. Cool Hand Luke. They're probably about the most watched of my 50 years of being around.
When do you, obviously you've had a great run for since Guy started putting you in movies, but I'm curious, when did you feel like you made it as an actor, like you can do this and you can pay your rent?
I guess the second time I was hired. I mean, the first time is pure guesswork, and you don't know if it's ever going to happen again. And I was quite content with the fact that I was in one movie, and it was actually a good movie. But you get hired again, and you go, oh, maybe I can do this. And I think then it kind of unrolls in front of you that you are hireable, and people will go and see your ugly face.
One of the things that I'm desperate for, and I know you've talked about it in the past, is what will it take for stunt performers to be recognized at the Oscars? And I'm just curious what your take is on that. Have you come around to what are you thinking about this?
I mean, I've always been a massive sort of advocate for the stunt community, because I think they're so skilled, and they are putting their lives at risk many, many times to make other people look great. And I think they train so hard, they put hours and hours, and they devote their lives to what they do, their skill set. And they are, extremely gifted human beings, and they have great ability to, disassociate themselves with fear, and they have to get the job done. They're a unique set of human beings. And I think their skill set is to be recognized, because not anyone can do what they do, and they spend their lives honing their skills. And their stuff is featured as much as anybody else's stuff. They are in the world of an act, in Marvel movies and action movies in general. They are the feature. It's all about the action, and I think it's about time that they did get some serious recognition.
I 100% agree, and I really hope this happens. Before I jump into Wrath of Man, my last other thing is, I spoke to you for the Meg. You know how much I had so much fun with that movie. Are you doing the sequel? Are you involved in that?
Yeah, we are. We're going to start shooting in January, if I get my dates right. And Ben Wheatley is the director. I'm very excited to work with him. I'm thrilled to get going. It's been a while. We've been waiting around for the right script to come in and the right director to turn up, and we've got all those things, and they're all stacked up now.
Yeah, I spoke to Ben recently for In the Earth, and I told him, when I heard his name, I was like, are you effing kidding me? I can't wait. He's such an unusual and good choice.
Yeah, he's great. We have a great shorthand already. We've got similar tastes. I like his movies. I think he's a brilliant director. I think we've got a good shot at making something good.
jumping into Wrath of Man, one of the things I think is so good about this movie is that it breaks with the typical narrative structure. In like later in the movie, you're introducing a whole bunch of characters that have not been seen before. It's jumping around with time. Can you sort of talk about your reaction to the script? Because I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's really it's seen from three different perspectives, and I think it's the replay when the movie kind of, you get to see one incident that kind of unwraps itself from three different angles, three different points of view from the different characters involved in that incident. And I think it's a really intelligent script. And I think it keeps you sort of guessing all the way through. And you get to enjoy this, it's almost like a combination of two movies. It's like a heist movie and a revenge movie. But you get all of the deep sort of drive from a guy who is just set on this spiral of trying to figure out who's responsible for the death of his son. And it's a really gritty, dark film that it's not typical of Guy's films. He's definitely into his sort of black comedy, and this is a little bit sort of more serious in its tone, it's great. But what he does, he injects so much of his own sort of style and the way that the camera moves, and he gets to emphasize these moments with the right speed of the camera track and the score. He's such a talented filmmaker.
I think the other reason why the film is so good is you were surrounded by this great supporting cast. I mean, I love Holt, and you have a lot of scenes with Holt. It's a great cast. Can you sort of talk about all these other people that Guy surrounded you with?
Yeah, I mean, that's an actor's sort of comfort, is to find, great talent to be around, and you sort of, they bring their A game, and it just helps you, drags you along, Holt was a real pleasure to work with. He plays this super likable, head of the security company, and he's just got this real panache about himself. We've got some great actors that I've had the pleasure of working with in the past. Eddie Marzan is one of my favorite actors. Scott Eastwood, I've worked with a couple of times on the Fast movies. He plays a great role. Jeffrey Donovan. I mean, it's a stellar cast. It really is.
Yeah, completely. Oh, can you talk a little bit about the way you and Guy wanted to craft action in this movie? Because it's not the slicked, choreographed kind of stuff that you've done sometimes in the past. It's a little bit more gritty and real, in my opinion.
Yeah. We spoke about this at length. I do action, and I've done many fight sequences and set pieces, and you have to be careful that we don't drift into that world. Guy wanted to make a movie that wasn't a movie that I'd done before in terms of the action. He didn't want the fancy turning kicks, or he didn't want pre-rehearsed choreography. He just didn't want it. He wanted to have a really different approach, an organic approach, where you turn up on the day, you look at the situation, and you figure out what would really happen in this location. The set designers would build it, and we turn up, and usually, typically it's done in advance, weeks before, and you can figure out what stunts you want to do, and do we need walls that explode. It's a very unusual approach, and you have to be very trusting in the director. But Guy's he's a tough dude that understands fighting, real fighting. I mean, he's a great martial artist himself, and he understands visceral action. He knows what is tough, and he knows what isn't. So you're in really good hands. He's an incredible sort of athlete himself, and he knows where to hit someone and if that would hurt or not. So anyway, the approach was to just turn up on the day and figure it out like a workshop almost.
You guys, after making this, partnered up again and just, I think, wrapped on another movie together. So how did that sort of come about? Were you making Wrath of Man and being like, fuck it, let's do another one?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. It was, we said, this is too much fun. It was quite a sad sort of day when we said that, when it was, everyone was sort of wrapping the movie. And we said, we could do it another few weeks. We really could. So we said, better than a few weeks. Why don't we just do another movie? He said, yeah, leave it with me. And, it just came very quickly. He said, I've got this other thing. It's not much of a script at the moment. And it's just an impossible thing that you say no to. So we were, setting that thing up. If it wasn't for the pandemic, we'd have gone a lot sooner. 6-9 months earlier than we ended up doing.
I have so many questions about the follow-up, but I have to ask you before I run out of time, what is the story with the Hobbs and Shaw sequel? How have you guys not started making this?
I have no idea. I don't know. We just sort of we sit around and wait for someone to go that, it's a big, expensive movie. Remember that. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars get spent on making the movie and promoting the movie. So they have to have a good script. And we're motivated to do something like that. We're just waiting for we're waiting for the knock on the door, essentially.
I got it. Do you think that Shaw will make an appearance in the final 2 Fast and Furious movies?
You want me to tell you? Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but I do want to know.
I'd love to come back for those, couple of movies. It's thin ice that I'm skating on if I talk about, what's going to happen in the next movies. But, I know Justin Lin, I know him really well. And it was funny when I came on to do the cameo in part 6, he never turned up for 7 and 8, and they're the ones that I did. So we're destined to do, something bigger. It's great to work with Vin and all the other characters. I made some great friends on that movie, and I really love the film franchise itself. I think it's a global success for all the right reasons. And to be a part of it is just a great privilege. So if they want me in the next ones, I'll be there. But
got it. No, I understand. Okay, I'm going to jump back because I am curious about Guy's next movie with you. How would you compare it to Wrath of Man? Is it more of his earlier work where it's like fun and funny comedic moments, or is it another serious kind of film like Wrath of Man?
No, it's not a dark sort of a revenge movie at all. It's something much more upbeat and funny, but it has great action. I'm not going to tell you too much about the plot because this is the wrong junket to say.
Sure.
The tone of the movie is definitely different. The tone of the movie is a much lighter, more comedic affair. It's back to more what he does traditionally. Yeah.
I have to wrap. I'm just going to say it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You know how much I'm a huge fan. Good luck with the rest of your speed dating today.
Thank you, Steve.